Right, this is a video that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time, but probably one nut of the bottle to do it. Not so much because I'm worried what people are going to think, but I just don't know if it's going to be any use to anybody. But it's becoming more and more apparent that lads are starting on gear a lot younger. Since opening the gym, the amount of younger lads that I've had approach me trying to source steroids when they're in absolutely no position to be taking steroids. Just a bit of a disclaimer, you're never going to get gear off me. I'm never going to sell it to you. So don't even ask me. I'm not going to tell you where to get it from either. It's worrying. It is really, really worrying. These lads, I think lads need to understand, not even the lads who want to do it, I think the misconception around gear at the moment is odd. It's being a lot more spoken about at the minute, which is brilliant, but I feel it's being spoken about and it's being praised like it's the godsend. For some reason, I think these young lads are under the impression that you're going to jab yourself in the arse and you're going to miraculously grow fucking muscles. And I normally am saying the same message to them over and over, and this is why I want to put this video out, because I'm hoping this will open some people's eyes. I'm on gear myself. I'm not shy about saying I'm on gear. I've been on gear for years. But what I do to what you would be doing is irrelevant. The misconception of gear, like I say, is people seem to think you're going to jab and get it. It's not that case. The reason steroids help and get people into a position where they're stronger and bigger is because you take steroids, it increases your recovery. So I can come into the gym, do a mental workout for a few hours, go home, sleep, wake up, and go again. If I weren't on gear, I would do a mental workout and it would wipe me out for a couple of days. This is the case for me. I'm no expert. I'm not going to sit here and start reading out scientific facts. All I'm going to do is give you my absolute personal experience of gear over the last couple of years and how I find it and what it does for me, and from what I've spoke to people and being a gym owner, what I've learned. So if I come off cycle and I come to the gym and train hard, I'm ruined for a couple of days. My joints hurt, muscles hurt, I feel fatigued, I've got no motivation. So I can give you my perspective. So when I'm on cycle, none of that happens. That's why I can continue to train. I train, and that is how it is. It's not I'm putting steroids in my ass and I'm growing muscles. I take that. I have to eat more. I have to train harder, or I can train harder, and I recover quicker. So I do get faster results. It's great, yeah. All right. So I do get big quick. I do get strong quick. But then when I come off gear, that goes. Strength goes and the size goes, and that's a whole nother mental mindfuck on its own. I suffer with really bad body dysmorphia, always have, still think I've got the body of a 16-year-old. So when I do come off cycle, it really fucks in my head, and this is something that you lads need to be aware of. It's going to screw you up emotionally. I always say that there's 3 types of moods that you will get once you're on steroids. If you are a manic depressant and you're not a very stable person in regards to emotional wise, it will heighten it. It will make you feel worse. You will feel like shit. If you are an angry person, steroids have a very good knack of boosting your confidence. You will feel a lot more confident on gear because you're stronger, because you're bigger. Your confidence goes through the roof. So if you're an angry little twat, you will be worse because you feel confident and you're bigger and stronger. You will use that and you will just be a dick, and you will be one of these people that are labelled a fucking stupid gearhead. If you're a horny person, you will be humping your wife's leg. It is what it is. So these are things you have to take into perspective. But then on the flip side, you take gear for long enough, you will lose your sex drive. You take Deca for long enough, you will struggle to get hard on. Been there, done it. Ran tests enough to literally absolutely floor my sex drive to the point that I had nothing, didn't want to do nothing. So it will be. This is very personal, but this is the sort of stuff people need to hear and understand. So Deca and test will do that. Tren will literally from my own personal experience, have you in the garden coughing, throwing up, trying to spew your own lung up if you get train cough while you're jabbing, to the point where you're scared you're going to die. You run tren long enough, after 8 weeks, you will struggle to breathe. You'll go up the stairs, you will be like a wheezing cat. So this is the nitty gritty side of gear. It's not pretty, it's not nice. You know, you jab wrong, you're going to get an infection and your ass is going to blow up. You can't sit down, you have to get on antibiotics. You know, you run gear long enough, you will become snappy, you become short-tempered. But that relates to how your life is. Like myself, I will get snappy if I've got something going on in the background. So if I'm doing stuff in the gym competition wise and I'm stressed because of that, I will get short and snappy. But then all it takes is somebody in my family to say, wind it in and you'll slow down. But the misconception of that you just think that you can go and buy a vial of 10ml test, put it in your ass and you'll be good to go is stupid. Like I remember, I'm not going to say the gym's name, but the gym owner was selling gear to a lad. I was stood next to him while I was selling it to him. And the lad was like, yeah, I'm going out tonight. And the owner was like, oh, where are you going? He's like, oh, I'm going in town, I'm going to get a bag, I'm going to drink. If you're taking gear, as in steroids, and then you're going out at night time, at weekends, Saturday and Sunday, getting pissed up and on the fucking bag, sniffing Charlie, you're a fucking idiot. I'm telling you now, you go away, give it up, go and do something else, go play golf. Because you have to commit everything if you take steroids. I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I've not done drugs for fucking years. I don't hardly drink, I didn't even drink at my own wedding because I was on cycle at the time. I was drinking lemonade, I think I had 1 glass of champagne. You can't, if you take steroids, you need to commit everything to it. Food has to be on point, diet has to be on point, sleep has to be on point. You know, you can't be taking it and then shortcutting on everything else because it will tax your body. What your liver will just be shot. If you take gear and drink, it taxes your body. When you drink alcohol, it will tax your body already. You add steroids into it, you're going to ruin yourself. You will absolutely ruin yourself. So you need to think about this. You know, if you want to train, you want to have a big body, if you're one of these lads that wants to be a pretty boy, you want to put a bit of fucking size on to go to town at the weekend, the gear's not your answer. My personal opinion, orals are bad. I don't really touch orals. I'm not a fan of them. Again, they're twice as toxic on the body as they are jabbing. But then jabbing is a whole different ball game. You know, I've been jabbing for years and I've had 2 infections where I've had to get antibiotics just because I've mishapped something by accident. I know of lads who have had mass bleeds, with a lot of other stuff. It's not a case of just jabbing it in your leg. You need to make sure you're in the muscle. You need to make sure there's no air in it, because if you jab it into an artery and you put that into your artery and it goes to your heart, you'll be dead by the time you take your second beat. Again, with air bubbles, if you don't do it right and you have an air bubble in it and that gets into your bloodstream, you'll be dead before you finish the vial. These are things people don't realise. People seem to think you can just literally put it out, boom, bang, done. There's so much more science to it. Like, I'm not an expert. I'm really not. I'm just going off my own personal experience, my own personal, what I've done, what's been bad, what's been good. I tend to keep my cycles really old school. I don't do anything with insulin. I don't do anything with growth. I'm just test. I'm currently running test, Deca and Tren. I'm running a mil of test, half a mil of Deca, half a mil of Tren, only because I'm going for a big lift at Christmas, and then I'll drop that all off and I'll just cruise on a very, very low test. And the reason I run on a low test is because I've come off. I had a conversation, I'm not going to say his name again, I had a conversation with a very, very close friend of mine, somebody who I really respect, and we was talking about steroids, and I said to him when I come off that I need to go back on because I feel like shit, and he summed it up very well. He said, you've signed a deal with the devil, which is exactly what it is. It's the minute you start on gear, if you're going to continue this lifestyle of being in the gym and training like we do, you'll never come off. Because when you do come off, I've seen it firsthand in the gym and I've had it myself. You come off, you feel awful. Because your body, you know, you can take all this stuff to bring back your own testosterone levels and everything, but that gap from where you stopped to where your body will get back up to that natural level, that gap is horrible. You don't want to move, you know, and this is like what I was on about. I said it in my previous video in regards to post-comp depression. A lot of people will do a comp and then come off gear. That could be double danger, because you're going to feel already depressed from, sorry, excuse me, you're going to already feel depressed from the competition coming out of it because you've got no focus, and then if you're dropping gear out of it, it can just absolutely heighten the lot. So it sounds like I'm waffling, but this is the conversation I'm having a lot with young lads who think, oh, I want to get on gear, because they come in here, like, I'm very proud of the lads I've got in this gym. So I'm very proud about the lads I've got in this gym. We've got some really strong athletes and some really high-end athletes. And we've got young lads who are coming into the sport, and they're seeing these lads and they're thinking, I want to get like that. And we're all very open here. We talk about it because I like to talk about it, because I will never be that guy who will take gear and say I'm not on gear. That's a whole nother minefield. Like, there's athletes out there who are quite clearly on gear, who will deny it. Now, for their own personal reasons, whatever. If you want to do that for sponsorship and whatever else, then do so. But in my opinion, you've got to be open as possible. You've got to let these lads know how it is. Tell them what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to give them a false impression. They're going to think they can do what they're doing. Get to our stage naturally, which they probably could, but it will take twice as long. So when they start training and then not getting the numbers and the PBs like we are, as quick as we are, that's another mindfuck. They'll be like, well, I'm not good enough, something's not happening. So if you tell them what you're doing, you say, no, I'm on gear because I do this, blah, 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 they'll know that that'll be the stepping stone to where it goes to. Like, I'm not promoting it. I'm not sitting here saying you should do it. If I could prevent people from doing it, I would, but it's just not going to happen. Lads are always going to do it. If you train in the gym, it's not a case of if you're going to do steroids, in my opinion. It's a case of when. I always knew I was going to jump on gear when I started training back when I was younger. It was just a matter of like when, and it took me a very, very long time. It took me 2 years of asking questions, studying about it. And then once I got it, I think it sat on my shelf for 2 weeks because I didn't have the bottle to do it. So, yeah, if you are considering jumping on steroids, just be fully aware of the downsides of it. It's not all rainbows and sunshine. You need to adapt your life to it. You know, no more alcohol, no more out going on the piss and getting bagged up, no more late nights, get rid of the shit food. You need to commit yourself to it, otherwise you're going to damage yourself. That's the top and tail of it. You will end up damaging your body. So I'm really hoping this video will resonate with a few people who are toying with it, and maybe they'll see from my own personal experience that it's not great, it's not fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it is good. Yes, I compete. I've been competing for years. I'm not no high standard. I'm far from it. I'm never going to be Britain's strongest man or UK strongest man. I enjoy what I do. I'm a scaffolder by day, so to go and do scaffolding all day, then come down to my own gym, run it, and train, I physically couldn't do it without gear now, just because I've been doing it for so long. So that's my story to it, and I just think if you're a young lad, at least wait until you're 25 upwards. Yeah, because anything before that, you know, your body's still producing good high testosterone levels. There shouldn't be no reason why you should be jumping on it. Even if you're looking to go into the big stakes, I would personally suggest find your body's potential. Once you hit a wall where, you know, your PBs are not moving for a couple of months, nothing's moving, not because you're mentally blocked, but because you've just kind of hit a wall, then I would maybe consider looking at it. But read up on it, look into it properly. I've told you all the shit side effects to it, which you don't really see. I've looked online. Not many people will sit there and say to you, you know, you're going to stop getting an erect. You're not going to get a hard on because Deca will absolutely floor it, or you're going to lose your sex drive because your test will drop your sex drive, or jabbing Tren will literally almost kill you. It feel like it's going to kill you. Orals, you know, D-bowl for instance. D-bowl's a great one. I remember when the first time I ran D-bowl when I was younger. The back pump from D-bowl on your kidneys is horrendous. It feels like somebody is stabbing you either side of your back because you're just locking up. It's horrible. It's not nice. You know, sometimes you can jab and you'll have a lump wherever you've jabbed. The gear will not disperse quick enough, and you'll end up with a lumpy arse. Then what's happened? I've had it to me in the past. Like I say, I've had a lumpy arse. It's got to the point where the scar tissue in my arse has got so lumpy that it's given me a bad back because it's pulling on something. You get lumps in your legs where it's just not dispersing, so you've had to have a hot bath and try and break it down because it's just not going nowhere. It's not fun. It's not. It's really not. It's a pain in the ass, and you'll get to a point like I do. I get to a point like I don't know, halfway through every cycle, I'm sick of jabbing. I hate it. It's like, oh, Monday night got a jab, Thursday night got a jab, but you're committed. You can't stop. It's not like you can just stop jabbing halfway through the cycle because you'll floor your body. You know, you can run PCTs. I've ran PCTs. They don't, personally for me, PCTs don't work. They make me feel worse. So my answer now, which I'm not recommending to absolutely nobody, don't do what I do, because another thing to point out is people's receptors are different. So from what I run, it's because I've built up enough receptors in my body to absorb the steroids. If somebody, for instance, has not taken gear before, runs what I've run, you'll piss most of it out because your body's not got the receptors to absorb it. So you have to build up a tolerance to it to where you can take more gear. That's something you need to bear in mind. I was running somewhere, that can't remember what it was, but it's irrelevant. But yeah, just it's not all fun and sunshine. Just bear it in mind. But yeah, once you start, you can't stop, because that was it, PCT. So PCT works good for me. It doesn't work good for me. It works shit for me. It makes me feel awful. So what I have to do, and like I said, I'm not going to advise this to anybody, but I just cruise on gear now. So I will run an absolute minimal amount of gear. So I'll go from a mil a week or half a mil a week from whatever cycle I'm doing, and I will drop down to like 0.3 a week. In theory, that's probably not doing nothing. My body is probably compensating for it, and I've got my own test levels up, but it becomes a mental thing, because the minute you stop jabbing, you do your last jab, 2 or 3 weeks after your last jab, you will start thinking, I'm losing size, I'm losing strength, I look like shit. And a whole mental perspective comes into it, and it's horrible. It is really, really horrible. But yeah, same as my previous video. Look, if you've got any questions, my inbox is open. You can message my personal page, or you can message the gym page. It's entirely up to you. I don't mind it. I'm there to talk to anybody. But I'm not promoting it, and I'm not going to sit here and slate it. But it's just, I want lads to open their eyes to it. I want you to really think about it. Yeah, that's it. I'll leave it at that.